beautiful day in Knoxville, cloudy and not set to be rainy as the Tennessee School for the Deaf Vikings look to get another win on their season as the Vikings take on the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind the Dragons on the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. And welcome you to Chambers Field. Spencer Thompson and James Shannon proud to bring you everybody the action here in this game. Our second game of the year for the Tennessee School for the Deaf Vikings, and both teams looking pretty strong going into this game, especially for the Vikings. You know, they've had some ups and downs. They faced one MTech team, the Patriots, this year, facing the Tennessee Heat at home next week on Thursday. It's interesting for the Florida Dragons is that they are 4-0 overall, 3-0 in their conference. And we get started off with a kickoff here, and that's Malcolm Williamson taking the return on the kickoffs, going to the right side to about the 31-yard line. And we'll see the Vikings go on offense first as the Dragons won the toss and elected to kick. Not something you see it often, but James, really interesting to see this game today.
Well, and the big story is Lorenzo Curry out today with bruised ribs. He's sitting out this week and looking to be back for the game against the Tennessee Heat next week. But definitely a big blow to the Vikings there. Another player was lost to injury, and then another player left the team apparently this week. So numbers coming into effect for them. Obviously 13 guys on their side, and 16 for Florida. So that may come into an account later on in the game.
And movement there. We'll get our first penalty of the game, like going to be an offsides.
Got a false start on the defense here. Be 5. Replay one. Should have been encroachment. 1. All right. Hey, 1st and 5 on the snap.
So at first it was a false start on the defense. Never seen that before, but ruled to encroachment. 1st and 5 on the 35-yard line.
Yeah, they changed the call there, but Malcolm Williamson right now sitting at 2nd overall for voting for the 2019 Chick-fil-A Extreme All-Star Game, so we'll see what he ends up doing today. Someone else to keep an eye on, Tristan Davidson.
There's a just tripped up Williamson, tried to rush through, a loss of 2 yards on the play for 2nd and 7.
And Florida makes the trip up. They're coming out of Boca Raton, so a little bit of a trip for them. More so than us.
They are in the state of Florida. They are ranked 8th in the Sunshine State, and the Dragons, of course, get 3-0 in their conference, 4-0 overall. So looking to keep that streak going. And the Vikings, not an undefeated season, but they've had some good things to build off of as we see a 2nd and 7. Movement there as it's handed up the middle. Left side, Jerry Williams gets to about the 35-yard line, back to 3rd down and 5.
Well, and Florida plays in a good conference there in the Sunshine State 8-man district. There's actually an East and a West, but playing a couple Christian schools, they actually sit undefeated in that division. But they've also taken they're 4-0 overall, so good solid season for them. I misread Max Preps, but game today, obviously, here in Knoxville. Then they host Louisiana School for the Deaf next week, who they're always a tough opponent. And then Alabama is who they close the season out. So tough end of the schedule for them.
And a tough end to their drive there as the defense weaves through. Loss of 3 yards for about 2nd down and 7.
And Louisiana losing to Alabama on Thursday night. And, of course, Tennessee has played Alabama, scheduled to play Louisiana, but it didn't work out. Florida traditionally has played 11, but, just like everywhere else, due to numbers, struggling to get kids out to play football, switched to 8. And so far it's worked out for them pretty well.
Not an end for the drive here as the Vikings are going to go for it. Williams, pass on the right side intended for Williamson. Shove off, can't get the catch, just went off of his chest, and turnover on downs.
Well, and you're going to see the field is set up. It can be soccer. a lot wider than your traditional sideline here on the home side. But he just went up for it, couldn't bring it in, and good defensive stand there for the Dragons. Let's see what they bring on offense.
The Dragons, again, undefeated under the coaching tenure of Eric LaForce, trying to get them to a 5-0, get them to 4-0 in conference.
Well, and them being part of two conferences, really. Of course, they've already won. They've already gone undefeated in the other conference, and then also a part of the Mason-Dixon conference. So to be undefeated in two different conferences is a pretty impressive feat.
And an impressive feat is a fake run right side. Matthew Gio all the way to the end zone for a touchdown.
When you're going to see the play fake here and the keeper around the right side, great job to be able to snag it.
He honestly had me fooled that it was being run up the middle.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought they were stopped, and then all of a sudden he pops out, finds the corner, gets to the sideline, and he's gone. It's a big 6.
First one to score are the Dragons with 8:48 left to go before the end of the first, and the clock continues to run down
And
after
no,
the touchdown.
our camera is not crooked. The field goal posts are crooked. There you go.
Really
They're out of St. Augustine, Florida.
And the team from St. Augustine, Florida, pitch to the left, goes out of bounds. 2-point conversion, no good. 8:38. 6-0 already the score here in Knoxville. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin. Visit allergyfranklin.com. And by Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance. Visit IHateBuyingInsurance.com. Kickoff here for the Dragons. 2-point conversion unsuccessful as it's just a low-line drive picked up by Williamson. Williamson to the right side. He's trying to get loose. Stays in bounds. He's actually ruled out of bounds as there's a little bit of extracurricular tackling there, and good field advantage for the Vikings to start on the 37-yard line.
Williamson's got some speed, and he can really bust out. He's going to need to bring another level to this game, especially with Lorenzo Curry having to sit out with the injury. But he's somebody that they're going to have step up. They're also missing Rye Carlion with an injury. That's the other player that's injured. So a tough break for the Vikings coming off a big win against South Carolina.
One of the more interesting things to look at for the team on defense now is that their head coach, this is his first year as head coach, started out 4-0 already, and that might be an impactful reason for why they moved to 8-man football as 1st and 10 here for the Vikings. Low snap and goes behind Williamson, falls down on it at the 28, a huge loss for the Vikings.
You always hate whenever you have a great play call as a coach. You know, you've got it all set up, and then you're going to lose 10 yards. It's a bummer. But you got to rebound. You got to just, come back out, maybe even with the same play. I've seen that before.
Of course, Coach Jordan Cooper is no stranger to the 8-man football game. He has been with the Vikings for a while. Was as an assistant coach back in 2016, and then he took over the head coach on 2nd and 20. Ball snap, handoff up the middle, a quarterback keeper by Malcolm Williamson, and that Dragons defense stuffs him for about a 2nd and 25.
You got to love the time change coming from Nashville to Knoxville. Of course, the wife says it's an 11:30 kickoff, so she thinks 11:30 her time. So, yeah. Gotta love it. But this is the only game other than the All-Star game where we deal with the time change. So a lot of times going straight up and down or just to the edge.
Yeah, Tennessee, one of the states at just the very edge of the state from about I believe Crossville
Forward is Eastern, yeah. Got a good game going on later on today. 2:00 kickoff. You've got Tennessee Heat at St. Andrews Swanee, and obviously we won't be there, but we will try to get some updates for y'all and at least give you the final score.
An interception made by Matthew Gio, who's got the first score of the game. Is he going to get the second one? Matthew Gio, the junior, the quarterback and cornerback, gets another touchdown.
And we've got a flag on the far side of the field, Spencer.
We'll see if that negates the touchdown. Just waiting for the call there. Waiting for the ruling on that, and it looks like they'll probably bring this back.
Blocking the back on the return. Be a first down.
So let me check and see. I think I may have gotten the replay on that one. I did. So you could see the interception here. That would have been a touchdown had there not been a block in the back.
Well, a great job coming across the middle and reading the route. But the ball is going to get spotted at the spot of the foul. No, at the spot of the interception, rather. But a great job from Gio reading that and really just being the leader for his team. I mean, we saw a guy like that last night. Of course, didn't get to broadcast the game. I take full responsibility. But a guy named Austin Devon for Ezekiel Academy, just an incredible player, and he's only a junior.
And Sean Mold, the junior, just immediately read that play to stop the Dragons from trying to get through. Looked like it may have been Dulcio who went up the middle, but second out.
Speaking of last night, like I was saying, Ezekiel, big win over Russell Christian, who hadn't lost the game since 2017, and that was to CCS in Florida in the NHSA tournament, and then had not lost a regular season game since 2016 to Tabernacle Christian there in town. So big win for the Knights. Of course, they took a 30-0 loss earlier in the season in Mississippi. So a great bounce-back game for Ezekiel as they got whooped pretty good by Evangel last week.
Second down, handoff up the middle, left side, it's Douglas. Walter Douglas, there's a flag down. At the moment, Walter Douglas is in the end zone for a touchdown, but we will.
I think we're going to get a face mask, Spencer.
See what your predictions hold this time.
Get a hold on the offense.
So instead of hold instead of a face mask.
Well, I got the right side of the ball. I mean, I got to get at least, bonus point for that.
Called the penalty correctly for calling it back, but just maybe he was holding the face mask. Maybe that's a penalty.
It is pumpkin spice season, and it's terrible. So, for those of y'all who have never been here at Chambers Field, give you a quick view. Got your scoreboard on the side there. Look up the field. There's your gym. It's just a beautiful setup. You look here to the left side of the field. Of course, you have your bushes. Behind those trees is the Tennessee River.
Your GPS actually led us to the other side of the campus where there was a locked gate that we couldn't get in, but it was a nice view to see their I believe their agriculture center and see some of the housing and such. Just a great campus for the Tennessee School for the Deaf. Deep toss on the right side, a lot of pushing and shoving, but the catch is made.
What a catch.
That's Marcus Gio, the sophomore
a couple brothers hooking up on the reception. We've never seen that before, Spencer. What a great catch. I legitimately thought it was incomplete, but he was able to come down with that, and that's a big completion to move the chains for Florida.
And even with the pushing and shoving off, to be able to make that catch, that's an incredible athletic move.
Spencer, you know what we need?
What's that?
We need a feed coming off your laptop to a screen that I can see. Bam. That's what we should have done.
How many more things are we going to buy in the off season?
Hey, anything to make the broadcast better.
You mean better for you.
Higher
about
quality.
The players.
Higher quality.
Or we could just get an extended display.
That's
Simple
true.
as that. Left side, incomplete. Intended for Prinzler.
Just barely overthrew him, or not overthrew him, but it was behind him. A little bit of a bullet pass. It brings up a second down. Be interesting to see if they go back to the misdirection that they ran earlier in the game to give them the touchdown. Well, I thought it was going to be a little chilly, but turned out pretty nice. I'm cool with that.
It's not too bad.
Be chilly up on the mountain, though.
Oh, yeah, the mountain for the 2019 Chick-fil-A All-Star Game. It's always chilly.
Well, I'm talking
especially
about in Swanee today, but, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It will be chilly up on the mountain, too.
Shovel pass over to Douglas. Walter Douglas gets stuffed by the Vikings. That's a big play made by Tristan Davidson, the senior.
Davidson was having none of that run, none of that option at all, and just completely shut it down. Great job. He was tripped up there for a second, but Davidson was able to come in on the backside and make the stop. That's a big play.
So about a 3rd down and 6 for the Dragons to try and push through. They are just outside of technically inside the red zone for an 80-yard field.
You know, we see some cool uniforms for, Middle Tennessee 8-man, Spencer. These top them. Hands down.
Both of these uniforms?
Both these uniforms top any uniforms that are in Tennessee right now.
Walter Douglas again to the left side. Malcolm Williamson making the defensive stop and forces a 4th down and 2.
When I told you with Lorenzo Curry and Rye Carline out, Williamson was going to have to step up, and that was a big play right there on the side, trying to get the edge, trying to get outside, and he shut it down pretty quick. That's 4. I think that's 4th and 3.
That's about 4th and 3, yeah.
If that's 2, that's a long 2.
Looked like it was potentially spotted there, but on the 9-yard line, the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind will try and get it into the end zone. Although all they need is a few yards here to get the 1st down or potentially an offsides penalty. But handoff, push through. I
don't think they got it, Spence.
That's a 1st down. We'll stop the clock there. And per the Max Preps roster, we don't have number 3 for the Dragons. But
well, there is a couple extras on the bottom, so it could be Dylan Davis or Willie Noble.
One of those is sophomore.
But a solid run there to pick up the. I didn't think he had it, but just a power run. They run kind of a formation almost like Christian Community, minus the extra play on the right side. They split a guy out wide to give him some options.
Pass right side. The catch is incomplete. Stepped out of bounds. That was Marcus Gio trying to get the catch, and at 6 foot, he has the reach to get up there, but needs to be careful to tap his feet into the end zone.
It's a big receiver, and it was right in the breadbasket. I thought he was going to be able to haul it in, just couldn't make the catch. That's a big break for the Vikings.
So now a 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line. We've seen, of course, in the NFL, the Vikings have a great defense. The question is, how will this goal line stand be for the Tennessee School for the Deaf Vikings?
We also don't have names as cool as Vikings and Dragons.
Yeah, we got some. I mean, the Knights are cool. Colts is unique.
Knights is cool until you have 3 teams with the name Knights. then it just gets confusing. A little bit different formation here.
As right side, the catch is incomplete.
Oh.
Almost a reception pulled in by either Davis or Noble. So now get a 3rd down and goal.
Well, he could smell Williamson closing in on it and just didn't finish it out.
We actually have 4 teams. I mean, not this season because of Sacred Heart dropping out, but we have 4 teams in MTAC.
Technically.
The mascot are the Knights.
Technically.
Well, that's a lot of jousting matches.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there. Back to the tight formation.
3rd down and goal. Handoff faked up the middle and shovel pass end zone touchdown. What a beautifully executed play. Walter Douglas gets in.
Well, and Davidson was right there, had the quarterback dead to rights, and he was just able to dump it off and pick up the 3 yards necessary to scamper into the corner. Bumps it to a 12-0 lead.
Looked like on the backside, the tackle was attempted to be made by Garrett Burns. Just couldn't get a grip on his jersey, and now a 12-0 lead. That's the interesting thing you look at as well. That formation has been beneficial for him to give him those options. And up the middle, looks like Davis, and the 2-point conversion is good this time. 14-0. The Vikings at home are trailing by 14. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Miner Homes. Visit chuckminerhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister. Safety for your family. .238 left to go in the first. Kicked towards the back. Williamson again back to receive. Picks it up at the 10 and trips on his own feet, down by contact at the 11.
Turf Monster got him.
Spencer Thompson and James Shannon back in Knoxville for the first time since 2016. Of course, 2017, the Vikings unfortunately had to cancel their 8-man football season. 2018 tried to make the trip
Car
up
problems.
here, but car problems, and then back here in 2019, it feels really good to go back to where kind of where it all started, at least where we called a full game together.
Well, and we don't get to do a lot of Saturday afternoon games. You know, we've done some Saturday night, but not a lot of Saturday afternoon. It's a really cool environment.
He was at my house at 5 o'clock this morning for us to make the road trip out here. And
Was it 5 or 6? I think it was 6. I was
was
at your house about 5:30.
Yeah, it was probably about 5:30. High snap and managed to get back to the line of scrimmage. Tristan Davidson back to the line of scrimmage for 2nd and 10.
But a shout out to Mr. Matthew Bowden making the trip down. And like I said, unfortunately, we didn't get to broadcast the game. Again, always remember the laptop. But and don't bring a 7-year-old laptop with you as the replacement. But that being said, had a great time, and it was actually a really good ball game. Really good ball game to catch.
You could possibly catch some of that stuff on our Instagram story for those updates during the game. As another run up the middle by Davidson avoids several tackles, gain of 2 yards on the play, or actually about 3-4, make that 3rd down.
That was a hard run there too. I mean, you saw him bounce off the player to the left, come back to the right, and be able to filter in.
It's got to feel really good to not have to worry about updates on the high school football app as much.
It does.
Because last week was intense.
Last week was a trip, man.
The good news is
six games total.
Good news is you only got a few more games to worry about going into. You only got a few more games to worry about next week, and then it's playoffs.
Gotta love it. I'm about it.
Playoffs are just around the corner for MTAC as Jerry Williams tries to push forward, gets a yard, and now 4th down, 4. And in this situation, back on about the 17-yard line, you're down by 14. We've seen the Vikings go for it and around the 40-yard line, but do they trust their defense enough to go for it on 4th down?
I think you have to. I think you have to take the shot, and obviously they are their punters here on the sideline. That's number 1, Cassidy Mead. So they're gonna. I see them airing it out here. And, of course, they split. That's going to be Conger and Burns out. Burns heads left. So I see them airing the ball out.
But we do have
I guess not.
Flags on. We do have whistles blown, and they're still going with the play course. And
well, it's the definition of playing through the whistle.
And it's a timeout called by the Vikings, so about 19 seconds left. Both teams going to meet with their coach as the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business.
Yes, sir.
Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy. Your health, our hands. Choose Star. And by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. 18 seconds left to go before the end of the first quarter. A timeout is called by the Vikings.
Is it 18 or 19? I think it's 19.
19 says 18 on our scoreboard. And trying to get the first down, only a gain of about a yard or two and a turnover on downs.
That was a tough run there. He was looking to hit the hole on the right side, just not able to open it up. And that's tough. This gives the Dragons a chance to take a 3-score lead before the first quarter is even over.
One of the interesting things you look at in this game, there are 8 officials on the field. A total of 6 on the field, 2 officials additionally on the sidelines. I believe a training game for them as they're trying to perfect their craft going into the playoffs.
Well, and it might be. I mean, that's the number of officials you have for the NFL. So maybe they're planning on doing the Titans game tomorrow.
Scramble right side. The catch is incomplete. Intended for. Looked like it was Noble, and just right between his fingertips.
And we've got a Viking down.
Looks like we got an.
Looks like he might have taken a lick.
Can't see which player is down for the Vikings, unfortunately. And just talking to you, trying to see what's going on with them.
And it might be number 27. No, 27's on the sidelines.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be Horsley. It might be, could be Garrett Burns, unless you see a 21 on the sidelines here.
Nope. I think it is Burns.
Probably Burns down and step aside for an injury timeout. So we did confirm it was Garrett Burns who's being looked at on the sideline. You can see that on the bottom left of your screen.
Able to walk off under his own power, though, so that's always a positive sign.
Likely the final play of the first quarter, incomplete pass as it goes down to 1 second left. So this will be the final play of the first quarter, barring a defensive penalty.
Well, Spencer, I hate to look ahead and jump ahead because we still have a game coming up today, but a lot of big games coming up next week, where you can hear the complete breakdown on them.
Extreme Radio.
Extreme Radio every Sunday, 4 p.m., right here on our YouTube channel. Catch a recap of a couple games that happened this weekend. We'll kind of talk around. Of course, you got the big game next week, the Battle of Franklin.
Yep, you got that on Thursday.
Classical and Christian. Got a bunch of games on Friday, so we'll preview all of the action.
Yep, preview all of that as time expires, and a rush on the right side into the end zone. A touchdown for Walter Douglas, and another score on the board for the Dragons.
That's a big boy, and he was able to get some steam going behind him. There was nothing the Vikings were going to be able to do to stop him. A solid run. Dragons go up at 3 scores, chance to really, really put a hurting on the Vikings right off the bat.
Let's make that the end of the first quarter, and we'll adjust that accordingly on your screen right now, so you can see some of the inner workings of what we do.
Well, they'll run the extra point here. They'll give them an untimed extra point, and then you'll see the first quarter come to a close. They'll take their break.
Handoff up the middle. rush again by number 3 for the I don't know why I keep saying Lightning, but the Dragons. 2-point conversion is good. 22-0, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind leading over the Tennessee School for the Deaf. After 12, 22-0. We'll be back in just a moment in the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Kickoff to start the second quarter, and the Vikings fall on a Tristan Davidson gets the ball, and we'll see if the Vikings can get anything going on offense to start the second quarter.
Well, that return kind of worked out for him because two players were facing each other. It dropped in the middle, and Davidson happened to grab it. And as soon as he turned around, went straight to the ground. So good job being able to just stop it right there. Vikings shorten their field up to a 80-yard field, traditionally 100. 100 by 52. That's part of the reason also for the sideline being the width that it is. But going down to traditional 80 by 40. So I guess we do have now we have two fields that are 80 by 40.
1st and 10 for the Vikings with motion. Run up the middle for Jerry Williams. Weaving through the defense. There is a flag down. Gets to the 38-yard line, as we'll get another penalty call in just a moment.
Got a personal foul, face mask on the defense.
So face mask on the defense.
Well, and it's a big run there by Williams, and then give him the penalty, and that's a big gain for the Vikings. It's a big move.
So move that forward a decent amount, all the way to the 23-yard line.
Well,
so when we get to the end of the run.
They're going to tack the penalty onto the end of the run. So they pick up about 20 yards, 25 maybe.
Pretty decent gain.
It's always fascinating, Spencer, watching the play calling.
Coach Jordan Cooper just trying to signal the play. As Jerry Williams loses the ball, and Malcolm Williams tries to get it. The ball lost again, and looks like the Dragons got it.
No, TSD had it. Williams did come up with it.
But they did lose it twice.
No, it wasn't Williams. That was Davidson with the recovery. Great job getting on the ball.
Yeah, Williams had it and scrambled just before he went out of bounds. Tossed the ball to his teammate Williamson, and then tossed over there.
It was either Davidson or Mold. Were able to fall on top of it, but not a lot of time for Williams rather. That's going to get confusing. Not a lot of time for Williams in the shotgun.
2nd and 5. And deflected off his teammate.
I think Tennessee got it.
2nd down.
Two pretty good breaks there.
Just Garrett Burns on the motion, snapped and deflected off of his leg.
It happens. The timing is so crucial on these plays. You really have to just get it down pat, be able to get the snap in when it needs to get in.
So now facing a 3rd down and 8. They were given a great opportunity to get the 1st and 10 on spotted about the 24-yard line. So great opportunity for them to march down just 20 yards and score. But now the Vikings facing a 3rd down and 9.
Well, this is their chance right here. You got to convert this. You got to put the ball in the end zone and keep this game from getting too out of hand. Williams has to have a big hand in it.
Here's Williams going up the middle, 1st down and a little bit more to about the 11-yard line. Finally brought down, and 1st and 10. Still life on this drive for Tennessee School for the Deaf.
Solid keeper there, and the line did a good job opening up just a little crack of ray, a little ray of sunlight. He was able to bust through it and move the chains.
Now we'll see the sophomore Kevwan Young come in. He's one of the more beefy boys for the Vikings. And run on the left side, push through Tristan Davidson. Gain of, make that about 4 or 5 yards for 2nd down.
But no, I really do love watching the play calling and Coach Cooper getting the plays into Williams and just the communication. Watching the Florida coach communicate as well. I mean, it's an experience. It really is. And seeing these guys get hyped up, I mean, it's full-on contact high school football.
Mentioned it, of course, when we had the pleasure of interviewing Coach Cooper prior to their game against South Haven. It was just a moving experience for me the first time I called a game here, and that was, again, many factors went into it. Of course, you and I got to talk and get to know each other on the way up, but Williams for loss of about 1. But I mean, just the experience, because it was the first time I'd ever been submerged in an environment where it's completely different from my normal world. To be submerged in that, it really opened up a lot of perspectives for me.
That was I don't mean to break away, but that was a really creative play. It was almost like a Philly special, seeing the quarterback motion to the right, completely legal, behind the line, motioning laterally, and then snapping it to the up back. Just couldn't make his block, couldn't get in there, and it hurt him.
So now about 3rd down and 7 as the Vikings trying to get a score here.
And they're going to need a big conversion.
Especially with about 7.5 left to go before halftime. A lot faster first half than we called the last time we were up here playing against the Georgia School for the Deaf. As a timeout is called. Timeout is called by the Vikings. They got one more remaining in the half. Be back in just a few moments after the timeout.
chooses Chick-fil-A sauce. Oh, we got 28,000 votes.
Yep,
Or
2,800 votes on the All-Star game, and yes, we do choose Chick-fil-A sauce any day. 3rd down and 7, left side. Rush and almost got to the end zone, Malcolm Williamson.
Right on the corner, and more importantly, I think he got the first down. The first down marker is right there at about the 2-yard line, looks like, on the far side of the field.
But it's a 4th down. It's a 4th down and.
Oh, they are going to mark it 4th. Well, this is a do or die situation right here. I mean, you got to punch it in. You got to get the first down. Might as well just do it all in one fell swoop.
Yep. Touchdown here is very crucial going forward into the rest of the game, especially being down 22-0, because you get a turnover and you give it back to the Dragons. They get another score here. It's getting pretty close.
Here you go, Spencer. You're going to have a quarterback draw right here. They're going to spread the field out.
Time called, and I believe final timeout of the first half for the Vikings.
Well, Coach Cooper wants to make sure this play is right. Very integral play right here for the game. You have to convert this.
$7:16 left to go before halftime. Spencer Thompson and James Shannon proud to bring you the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week here from Knoxville.
Well, that was lucky right there. Picking up a flag.
A dead ball. Encroachment on the defense.
May move that 5 yards up.
That's a huge break. Well, it won't be 5. It'll be half the distance. But that's a huge break right there because that could have been an interception. Of course, the Vikings quit playing. But that could have turned out very, very badly. And
now, does that lead to an automatic first down, though, with the encroachment? Because if it's half the distance, you can't go 5 yards.
I would think so, yeah. Well, no. No, because it's half the distance.
I guess it's half the distance to the line to gain. So about a 4th down and 1.
Well, hey, you still got to score here, and I think you end up.
Or you just go a few inches and get the first down.
There you go. Just do a Tom Brady.
Is that a Tom Brady?
Nope.
He gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage, but staying
no,
on
he
his
didn't.
feet.
Spencer,
Touchdown.
He busted in.
Jerry Williams.
That was incredible. The young man, as soon as the ball was snapped, Florida able to puncture the line, and it looked like they were going to knock him back and stop it. But Jerry Williams just never, ever quitting, bounces to the outside, puts the Vikings on the board. That was an incredible play. That was the kind of answer the Vikings needed against the Dragons. And originally I said quarterback draw on this formation. You're going to see, well, no. Oh, yeah, you're going to see a pass.
Williams wide open. Can't make the catch.
Man,
Garrett Burns, the 8th grader, could have made it. Just bounced off of his shoulder pads.
That's tough. Hey, shake it off, buddy. Shake it off. Don't let it affect you. There'll be another chance.
So about 7:03 left to go in the second, as they pretty quickly turn around for their kickoffs anyway.
I've been impressed with Florida so far today, But I'm very impressed with that. That young man just completely shut down, and the improvisation that he was able to bring. That was a big play. That's what they needed. They needed the 2-point conversion, but they needed the touchdown for sure. And we're finally going to get to see Mr. Cassidy Meade kick away for the Vikings.
First time that they are kicking it away. Otherwise, we would have seen that first time at the start of the second half.
Of course, Florida has to move up to where they need to be. You got to have a couple guys at the 10 yards away from where the kickoff is. Typically, most teams go like a 5-3-1 or a 4-3-1 or a 4-2-1-1.
Little squib kick deflects off of Jacob Joseph and goes out of bounds.
And I don't know. They might make him. They might have him re-kick it. Meade is heading off. They might take that right there.
Probably taking it about the 36-yard line. Waiting to see where they're going to spot it.
Well, the kick went out of bounds about the 26. I think they're going to end up moving it up to the 35.
They move it to the 33.
I just split the difference. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Another score here from the Dragons can be costly. We'll see if that Vikings defense can get anything going.
I think they're hyped up after that touchdown, Spencer. That was an incredible play. And he's been able to punch it in. But we've seen what the Dragons have been able to do all day. Let's see if they can answer back.
Fake handoff, right side, stiff arm, and shovel pass, loses it, goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Well, he got lucky on that because he was about to get lit, and he wasn't able to pick the ball up. Good job for the Vikings reading the option there, shutting down the quarterback, making him pitch the ball.
Now on a 2nd down and 9. The interesting thing you've seen from the Vikings defense is that they've at least they've tried to hold them in reasonable distance, but it's been tough because the Dragons have just been able to get that quick offense on you.
Well, and they have this interesting formation that I don't know that TSD has seen.
And another fake handoff, shovel pass, left side.
That's a big play by Williamson on the tackle, and Mr. Meade, the kicker, getting some action. That's good. That's good stuff. I like it.
Now the ball is exactly at midfield for about 3rd down and 4.
Or as someone has said, I don't like it, I love it. Was reminded of that song by, anyways. Well, on that play, just the exact same play, they just flipped the side and able to get it out. And you might see that here out of this tight formation.
3rd down, push through to the middle.
I don't think he didn't get it.
Cuts it in half to about 4th down and 2. Didn't get the 1st down, but we'll, of course, see the Dragons go for it since they're across midfield.
That's a great job by Florida. You know, you go fake to the right, fake to the left, and then actually give it up the middle, but the Vikings not fooled at all.
We haven't seen a single punt in this game thus far, and stayed interesting with both sides.
And in the background, I don't know if you heard that, there's some fireworks, and that means that the Tennessee Volunteers have scored.
I couldn't tell if that was fireworks or thunder. The first thing going through our mind is we didn't cover any of our equipment. But handoff up the middle, 1st down, and how about a little bit more? Either Davis or Noble.
Well, maybe they didn't score.
So now a 1st down and 10 on the about the 32-yard line. Maybe somebody launched fireworks thinking it was a touchdown, but it got pulled back for a penalty.
They were celebrating.
It's celebrating too early on that. So 1st down and 10 on about the 31-yard line. Dragons pushing down the field as the clock continues to run. About 4.5 left to go before the end of the first half. Star Physical Therapy halftime report coming up. We'll give you our highlights. We'll give you our analysis of the game thus far. And push through the middle left side. It's a big rush by Matthew Gio. Matthew Gio to the end zone, a touchdown for the Dragon.
What a great job on the option. I mean, there's so many things you can run out of this, and Swanee, this is kind of the offense they run as well. You know, there's a quarterback keeper to either side, an option to either side. You can run it up the middle. There's just a whole bunch of things you can do out of this, and they're exercising. They exercised all of those options on this drive. Just a great job to be able to execute on the plays. That's what they needed to do.
So it's a 22-point lead right now. 2-point conversion makes it 24. Of course, the mercy rule, that 35 Vikings managed to get a touchdown there to help prevent that from getting closer. 4:16 left to go in the second. And nice pass up
How
the
about
middle.
a Tebow pass there, a little jump?
Kyle Prinzler with the reception. And with 4:16
Very nice.
left to go in the second, it's 28-6. .416 left to go in the second. As the Dragons kick it off and followed on by Williams at the 25.
Boy, a line drive, and he's just able to snag it and fall. Not bad field position, actually. We have a special shout-out to everyone watching back in Middle Tennessee. Maybe you're watching in Florida. Get a chance to see your boys come up here to Knoxville. Shout-out to you guys as well, and any other Vikings fans that might be watching. Welcome in.
Yeah, most of those in Florida are on the same time zone as we are, so most people. I'm wondering if where the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind is located. If
It's St. Augustine.
Is that an Eastern time?
Yeah, that's down in the main part.
Down in the same time zone as us. Welcome in. Run up the middle by Malcolm Williamson for a gain of a yard. 2nd down and 9.
I mean, I'm a little rusty on my Florida geography, but
It's now about 2nd down and 7 as James looks up that stat for us. We need a statistician in the booth. We just need a third guy up here at some point.
amaxstream@gmail.com. You can DM us.
Or, yeah, you can send us a message on any of our social media platforms, and we'll definitely get something set up for you.
Williams is going to have to come up big on this one. He's been able to convert so far.
Big toss left side to Malcolm Williamson.
Oh,
Catches
boy.
incomplete.
Well contested between the two. And a little bit asking about how the family is there between them.
Of course. So now 3:25 left to go.
You know, Florida actually has a pretty nice football field there, Spence.
You're looking at the football field there. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. They got a track around
Tennis
there,
courts.
Tennis courts.
It's a nice setup.
I'm sure they got tennis courts here on site for TSD. We
Yes,
can see
it is.
you can see the gym a little bit in the camera shot, but there's a nice little steeple up on top of it too.
They're out of St. Augustine, which is just outside of Jacksonville. Got some Jaguars fans here.
Run to the left by Malcolm Williamson. Gets tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. That's a big move. We're going to say that's Dylan Davis, number 5.
Great job hanging onto the ball there for Williamson. Could have very easily coughed it up, but Stood his ground. You could definitely tell that they're missing Carline and Curry. I mean, Curry is their bread and butter. He's their playmaker. He's their leader. And it kills him to not have him out there. It's probably killing him to not be out there either.
So now a 4th down and 13. We've seen the Vikings go for it on every drive, and it looks like their punter, Cassidy Mead, is staying on the sideline. So Vikings have come here to play. They're not going to punt it away on 4th down.
No, you've got to pull the trigger here. I mean, you don't get the ball after halftime, so, I mean, YOLO.
Just forgot to adjust the score on there. It says 30-6 on the scoreboard, and they do not convert on 4th down, so it's stopped at the 34-yard line.
It's a big hit for Florida, a big turnover. They can really put the game out of reach here. You know, Spence, even when we get these blowout games like this, I mean, just the experience of getting to come here, you know, the hospitality, just the calming atmosphere. It's always a lot of fun.
Yep.
Really enjoy. I hated we didn't get to come last year.
Oh yeah.
They were going to play Georgia School for the
It would have
Deaf.
been a rematch of the 2016 collision that we had the pleasure of calling a 2-hour first half in that game.
I think, was it Georgia or Mississippi too?
It may have been Mississippi.
I think it was
actually.
Mississippi.
Yeah.
I think it was Mississippi. I have gotten to go to Mississippi School for the Deaf back when the Memphis Nighthawks were 8-man, and they went down to Jackson, Mississippi to play them. That was a good time too. Nice field, nice setup. They care about football.
Unfortunately, Georgia, the Georgia School for the Deaf, shutting down their football program a few years ago, and we'll get the call on this penalty.
A dead ball, delay game on the offense.
So 5 yards back of 1st and 15 on the 30.
A little bit of Old Spice on the call too.
I need to set that as my text ringtone, but I keep my phone on vibrate most of the time, so I just waste money on a ringtone for
Here's that tight option formation, but he's going to throw out of it.
And a complete low pass there. Looked like he was aiming for the white line there, but 2nd down and 15.
Well, and just you know, that's not what you wanted to do coming out of a 1st down and long yardage to go after losing, picking up a delay of game call. But definitely a good day so far for Gio.
Matthew Gio. The Gio brothers have just been fantastic today, especially, you know, Gio is a junior quarterback. He's at 5'10", not one of the tallest guys in the team because they have some guys in 6 foot plus, but he's had a fantastic start as the catch is made by his brother Marcus Gio, the 6-footer sophomore.
Great catch, scooping it off the ground. At least we're not in an NFL game. That pass would be broken down for about 15 minutes to see if it was actually a catch. Did it hit the ground? Did he
going to the ground?
Did he retain
2 feet
possession?
And a football move.
No. So glad.
I mean, at the same time, you know, instant replay can help. It's just when you overcomplicate things and overanalyze, that's where the issue comes in.
Sure, NFL hot take of the day. Brought to you by Mr. Spencer Thompson.
3rd down and 9. Deep toss right side intended for Gio, and in coverage it bounces off. They could have had the interception there. Cassidy Mead just didn't get under it in time.
Deflection up in the air, and Mead just inches away from bringing it down.
So now on a 4th and 9, it's probably you're going to see a shot for the end zone taken here, even though that they just need to get a 1st down at about the 16-yard line. They have to go 9 yards, but likely you're going to see a shot in the end zone here by the Dragons.
Well, I think you have to with $1.25 to go. You know, you got nothing to lose. You're up by 24 points. Why not? You also put the pressure back on TSD, who has no timeouts remaining, to march down the field in just over a minute. Now, they can take some shots with Williams and Williamson, but we'll have to see what they do.
And it's a handoff left side. And 1st down for the Dragons. That's Dylan Davis getting the rush to about the 10-yard line. Again, guessing that Dylan Davis is the one wearing number 3. Sophomore making the big move. And First and goal on the 10. This clock continues to run. About just over 60 seconds left to go before the end of the first half. The Dragons taking their time just to rush down the clock because I guess they're in that mentality of if they score, great. If they don't, it's fine. You're leading by 24. Star Physical Therapy halftime report is coming up after the end of the quarter.
Oh boy, Tennessee is up.
You
Not too far from here, actually. About 10 minutes.
Here's a 1st and 10. Pass up the middle. Almost intercepted by Cassidy Meade again. The second opportunity he's had, it just hit down on the ground.
Well, the kicker's all over the place. He is making plays. Making up for the kickoff that went out of bounds there after the touchdown for the Vikings.
So with 34 seconds left, that's a lucky break for the Dragons as well because they've got some time to actually think about what play they want to do. I mean, if they caught the ball, it would have been a touchdown, but that at least gives them a break to reevaluate and see what they want to do.
Well, and here I think you see them air the football out. I mean, they've got nothing to lose right now. They're just taking shots down the field, trying to make something happen.
Speaking of attempted shot, there's up the middle, incomplete. Ball intended for Kyle Prinzler and shaves off about 6 seconds.
Well, he wanted the jump pass, and defenders read that pretty well, so he had to roll out to the side and then try to throw it. And it just threw the completely threw the timing of the route off. You know, you got to take your 3 quick steps, cut across the middle, bam, you got the jump pass. But when that doesn't happen, you have to improvise, and it just didn't. It wasn't converting for him.
Now a 4th down and 10. So again, for Dragons, they make the touchdown, great for them. If not, they're still leading by 24. So it'll just potentially be a knee down if they don't punch it in here. Here's a ball loose, and Dragons fall on it. It's not going to matter. It's a turnover on downs.
Well, and you're going to stop the clock here to change to move the chains. You don't have any timeouts, so you're going to see the Vikings take a shot here. I think they spread it wide. Of course, you've got Williams at quarterback. I see they're checking in Burns. Also checking in Conger.
Of course, you got several 8th graders for the Vikings, and the Vikings only have 2 seniors on their team. A lot of juniors going up into next year, so the Vikings are a team to look out for going into 2020.
Well, yeah, and I mean they're losing some very significant seniors though.
Up the middle, rush by Malcolm Williamson as it runs down. The Vikings are out of timeout, so it looks like they're just going to let it run down for the end of the first half. 30-6, the score at the end of the first half. The Dragons come out swinging against the Vikings. And we'll head to the Star Physical Therapy halftime report in just a few moments. You're watching the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. Welcome into the Star Physical Therapy halftime report, everybody. I'm Spencer Thompson alongside
Why
James
are you taking
Shannon.
all the camera? Hold on.
Of course I'm taking all the camera. That's how this works.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to get some angles there.
Oh.
Again, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, even bigger Breast Cancer Awareness
Boom.
Month pink shirt there. But
How about
the score at
that?
the half with about 14 minutes left on the game clock is 30-6. So the Dragons for the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind have really come out swinging. Their offense has been high-powered. What's the key for them to just hold it into the second half?
Well, Gio just has to keep doing what he's doing. He's been kind of the catalyst for this team. His brother, the sophomore, able to haul in a couple passes. And then at the same time, you've had Delcio able to get in. Well, it was just Delcio or Douglas. One of the two were able to get in. So they just have to keep doing what they're doing, running that tight formation, the options, just keeping the Vikings guessing.
And the Vikings thus far, they managed to get one score on the board, so it's not a total loss for them, but a few more scores by the Dragons, and then it's going to be a mercy rule running clock. What do the Vikings have to do to make it back here at home?
Well, again, it comes down to the quarterback, Jerry Williams. You know, as a junior, he hasn't had a whole lot of experience with seasons being canceled and shortened, but this is an opportunity for him to step up and show some leadership. But guys like Tristan Davidson have to be able to
Completely lost the
have to be able to perform at the level that they're needed.
Well, about 12 and a half minutes left to go before we head into halftime.
And if Lorenzo Curry could be healthy for the second half, that'd probably help too. But it ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not happening today. About 12 minutes until we get out of the halftime break. You're watching thekingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week. We'll be back in just a few moments. Started the second half with an onside kick attempt that goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
Well, that didn't work out too well there for the Vikings, but coming in the second half here, they've really got to get some things clicking because Florida has been able to take it to them. I mean, this literally looked like the other Florida-Tennessee game that we don't talk about.
Spencer
No.
Thompson and James Shannon proud to
Okay.
bring you this game here from Chambers Field in Knoxville, Tennessee. First time we've actually been here to broadcast a game since, I believe, October of 2016.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. You know, we talk about 8-man being in Tennessee since 2000 with Franklin Classical. The Vikings here originally played 11, but they started playing in 1896.
Their football program goes back a long time.
Uniforms have gotten better, too.
The handoff left side to Davis. Davis weaving through the defense, staying on his feet to about the 16, 17-yard line. And a big gain for the Dragons. They're wanting to put this thing away.
It was a good, solid run, too. I mean, just right up the middle, and then he was able to just slide to the right just a hair and find the room he needed, move the chains, and keep it going. They got a long drive ahead of them. They're ready to go.
Yeah, for them, I believe down to where they are near Jacksonville. That's about maybe a 7-8 hour drive.
I
Something
think it's
like
8
that.
hours. I think I saw 8 hours when I looked it up.
I got a longer trip to visit family up in northern Pennsylvania, but hey, it's drive is a drive. Speaking of a drive, here's a nice
What a
spin
spin.
move by Dylan Davis. Got down to about the 5-yard line. That sort of athleticism is exactly why they're up 30-6.
Good night in the morning. He hit the spin stick on him.
What?
I don't know. Trying to.
Giving you the same reaction that you give me anytime I make a reference you don't understand. What?
No, I was imitating some broadcasters that I've heard recently. It's a 8.5 hour drive.
8.5 hours.
Y'all can keep
I've
your
driven
8.5
that
hour
before.
drive.
Yeah, we only have 3 hours from here. Well, you'll have about 4.5 hours. to
3
drive.
hours back home, but then we gain an hour to 2 hours, and then I'll have an hour home. So.
Yep. Another handoff left side, and big
Oh,
stop by
boy.
Malcolm Williamson to prevent Davis from getting into the end zone.
That was a belly-to-belly suplex right there. Just a grown man takedown. Looked like Big E Langston on the play.
Big E
Gotta
Langston.
throw it in there. Big E.
You see, this weekend I took off from trying to fit in a certain word or phrase in a broadcast, and you have obviously tried to bet. You have obviously.
My analogies have
prevalent,
just gotten
yeah.
sharper.
I wouldn't say they haven't gotten sharper. They
I
got
would
more
say it.
obvious that you're trying to cram them in. 10 minutes left to go in the third.
I'm not trying to cram anything in. It fits.
If it fits, it ships. Up the middle, touchdown for Davis and the Dragons.
That's a big one. That's a big power run right up the middle. One more touchdown. We got the mercy rule enacted. Tennessee, it's tough. It's tough. Florida is clicking on all cylinders right now. A lot of things are working for them in the run game, and just able to convert with some power running.
So now a 30-point lead for the Dragons over the Vikings, and it's really potentially going to go away here, or at least to try to officially seal the game away if they get another score. And up the middle, the 2-point conversion is good. Make that a 32-point lead for the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is brought to you by Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Jets Pizza of Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. Let's get Jets. The Allergy Center of Franklin. Visit allergyfranklin.com. And by Joe Graves with I Hate Buying Insurance. Visit IHateBuyingInsurance.com, and we'll show you the replay on that big run and return by Malcolm Williamson.
An incredible job, just the young man taking it right in the chest. And he kind of did a little jump back and forth, little jump cuts until he found what he wanted, hit the right side, and able to put the ball in the Dragons into the field. And that's what the Vikings needed. They need a chance to take a shot right here.
Of course, for the Vikings, they've had their struggles this season. They opened on the road in Springfield against the South Haven Patriots. Took a few wins and losses here and there. I believe they have a total of 2 or 3 wins on the season, and tried to get a win before going with their game against the Tennessee Heat next week, and couldn't make it going. But there goes Jerry Williams to the end zone, a touchdown for the Vikings.
That's a big run. The young man able to punch the ball in. You're going to see him just come right up the middle, untouched, and a great run. Definitely a leader for this team.
Jerry Williams, as a junior next year, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Great play calling, too, by Coach Cooper, just knowing what to go with there and letting Williams do his thing. Very athletic, very athletic.
Doesn't look like we'll necessarily get a mercy rule that quick.
No.
Probably not in this game. Williams staying on his feet to get off the pass. Nobody there. Looked like it was intended for Williamson, but
well, no harm, no foul.
So now 38-12 with 9:34 left to go in third. And just want to remind everybody, the Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit drsterlingfoster.com for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Miner Homes. Visit chuckminerhomes.com for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister, safety for your family. Again, Spencer Thompson, James Shannon on call from Chambers Field in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Tennessee School for the Deaf. Really great complex. When we, your GPS led us to a gate on campus that was closed off, but we got to see another side of the campus we hadn't really seen before. Just a lot of great things on site, and just a testament to all the great things that the Vikings are doing, not just for football, but in all of their programs.
So it's not rare for me to say crazy things. I'm going to say something crazy right now. There should be a certain championship game here, I'm just saying. This is a beautiful facility, great setup. I mean, the concrete bleachers are a little rough, but it's a cool look.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool look for sure as the kickoff goes to about 37-yard line and the Dragons get back to work. Maybe if the Mason-Dixon League had a championship, they could host it here.
Yeah, they run it like the old BCS, the old, oh, you had the best record? Oh, well, you win the championship. Kind of, I don't know that I like that so much. Kind of funky, obviously, honestly.
Now 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Run on the left side. There goes Walter Douglas to the outside. Walter Douglas pulled out at the last second. Did he get the touchdown?
Nope, they're going to say he was out.
Short at the 1-yard line. Big play by Malcolm Williamson to prevent him from getting the score.
Robbed of his second touchdown on the day. Just a hard, solid run. And a great job to put a lot of pressure on that defense.
Now 9:22 left to go in the third.
Take a look at these standings real quick. Louisiana School for the Deaf sits at 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the Mason-Dixon Conference. Tennessee is actually second, 2-3 and 2-1 in the conference. And after this game, they'll move to 2-2, obviously. But there you go.
So time was called there. The signal that, so it looks like it's 1st and goal on the 4 3-yard line.
Spencer, you want to talk about some travel, right? So we complained about our situation this weekend. But Mississippi School for the Deaf is taking on Oklahoma School for the Deaf in Oklahoma. So I'm gonna have the stats for you in 3,
That's a long
2, 1. So that is an 8-hour drive as well.
As a push through by Kyle Prinzler.
He didn't get it.
Doesn't break the
2-point conversion is no good.
So it was ruled a touchdown. So I guess they
No.
because he gave a signal of decline there. So I guess they gave him a touchdown. That's what I was wondering. The official on the far side did signal a touchdown. So with 9:16 left to go in the third, it's 44-12. It was interesting because it looked like he may have been stopped. I guess he stretched over the pylon for that score.
So it's an 8-hour drive, 540 miles. Pretty much just shoot from Jackson through Shreveport and Dallas and then hop up into Oklahoma. So in terms of the Mason-Dixon conference that TSD plays in, might help if I focus on the kicking team. In terms of the conference that they play in, so Mississippi sits at 1-4, 1-2 in the conference, and game with Oklahoma currently going on. And then South Carolina School for the Deaf and Blind, they sit at 1-5 overall with a win over a Green Charter School, 30-28. But they are winless in the Mason-Dixon.
Trying to change that here, but they're down by 32. Malcolm Williamson picks up the ball at about the 7-yard line, and to the left side, he may have a bit of an opening here if he can get past, but pulled down by several Dragons.
Great job by Florida, just swarming to the football. No chance for Williamson on the return, even though he tried to reverse field.
So about 9:05 left to go. We'll see if the Vikings can get another score. They're down by 32. Another score enacts the mercy rule. And the Vikings trying to.
Well, there is another 8-man conference, Spencer. You've got it's called the Great Plains Conference. You've got New Mexico, Oklahoma, Missouri, Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, Arkansas, and Wisconsin.
All those schools for the deaf?
All those schools for the deaf playing 8-man football.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I'm not even going to lie.
We know that Oregon has about 20-something 8-man teams, something like that. And
quite a few,
Vermont's
actually.
Vermont's got a movement to get 8-man football and such. It's just the numbers, unfortunately, going down for football all across the nation in high school as Garrett Burns goes to about the 16-yard line and a gain of 1 for 2nd and 9. But it's really interesting because a lot of numbers, there's still a bunch of schools that are playing 11-man football. Some of them struggling because they don't have as many numbers. And it's the question of, is 8-man football the right path to go for high school and then just going into colleges and such, stick with 11-man?
Well, I think if you're high school, colleges are never going to struggle having players come out. But, if you're a high school, and for me, if you have less than 30 kids, I think you go to 11, and I think you go that route. I think that's the best route, not just for your school, but really for your players, too, to not put them in harm's way.
Jerry Williams with a gain of, make that about 6 yards on the play. It's now 3rd down and 4. So now the Vikings facing a 3rd down, and they've been in this situation before where they have the chance of just a few yards to get the 1st down, and it's been unsuccessful. But again, it's 8-man football. I think might be the direction to go for some high schools. You look at several schools that have been struggling in 11-man. Schools like Grace Christian, they for the last several years have been struggling. The Webb School has to commit to 2 years as Williams falls on the ball in the backfield, and
Webb taking a big loss last night
to Mount Juliet, taking a loss there, and it's tough. The Webb School said they've committed at least 2 years because of TSSAA regulations, but we might see them go back to 8-man football in 2021.
Well, it's been a tough go for them, and of course the win they're picked up coming against Grace Christian out of Leapers Fork.
Yeah, Grace Christian used to be an MTAC and A-man football, but then moved up to 11. Believe that year they went to the playoffs and lost, and then
Played in the consolation game.
Yep, and then ended up going to 11-man after that. So here's now 4th down and 15. So rush up the middle for Malcolm Williamson. Can he get the first down on the 4th down? He will. Staying on the sideline, gets ruled out of bounds at about the 29-yard line, but a big move by Malcolm Williamson to keep this drive alive for the Vikings.
Just so much speed, hitting that edge, finding the sideline, and just taking off. No holds barred. I mean, he was gone and just barely got forced out of bounds.
Stepped out of bounds and on the 29-yard line, 6:37 left to go in the 3rd.
Here come the yawns, Spencer. They're coming.
It's been a long day for both of us to this point, and even though it's only halfway through.
Tennessee leads 7-3, by the way. Predators play tonight.
Tennessee isn't. They aren't even ranked on the college football rankings.
Thanks for rubbing that in my face there, Spence.
And
Appreciate
here's
it.
Jerry Williams going up the right side. Gets a gain of. Is that a first down to move the chains?
I think it is.
Might be a little
they're
bit
going to
short.
go just short.
Looks like
Nope,
about.
they're moving it.
First down and 10. A big move by Williams.
Had to get the yardage marker moved, the box, as some people call it. Get that moves, and then judge where the ball is based on the chains, and then you move the chains.
Of course, the other game that's set to take place later on today is between the St. Andrew Sewanee Mountain Lions and the Tennessee Heat. The last game of the season for the Mountain Lions, they've had a struggle looking for their first W of the year, and the Heat of course, had several wins. Of course, a big announcement about them going independent and such. Might be picking up some other games going down the stretch as well. But
keep you updated on Extreme Radio, which you can catch every Sunday, 4 p.m. on our YouTube channel.
But of course, the Heat.
Please listen.
That's a really interesting thing about. So the Vikings and Heat are both playing on Saturday. They have a game Thursday, so they only have 5 days to recover and make the trip out
It's
here.
an equal playing field, except for the fact that the Heat have to drive out here to Knoxville, which isn't a terrible drive.
It isn't
from
bad.
Mount Juliet. It's only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, not bad.
You lose an hour, but then going home, you gain an hour, so it's only like an hour and a half drive.
It's a ball snapped, run on the left side to Tristan
Oh,
Davidson.
what a run.
And a big run, gain of a first down.
Well, that was a truck move right there. It was the song Boom. Here comes the boom. Here comes the boom. Here comes the boom.
I get it. So now about 3rd down and 3.
That was some solid running right there. We got a special shout out again. Everyone watching back in Middle Tennessee, whether you're watching in Florida, maybe you're a TSD parent, couldn't make the game today. Welcome in. Having a great time here at Chambers Field. Beautiful atmosphere, beautiful setup, very hospitable, and it's always fun. Always a blast to come here.
Here's 3rd down and 3. QB sneak Jerry Williams to the right side. And gets out of bounds at about the 25. So now the Vikings offense is getting moving. That's the big question of what happened to this Vikings team earlier in the first quarter. How did they not get going until this point?
Well, that touchdown on the backside on the last drive for the Dragons, that could have lit a little fire under them, and then all of a sudden, they just decided to go off. But some solid runs here for the Vikings. I mean, they're putting together a good drive. It's too little, too late. But it is a very solid drive that they've needed to kind of build some confidence up going into really a big game with the Tennessee Heat next week, who have also had their struggles this year, kind of got on a roll with wins against Bowling Green and South Haven, so moving to a 3-6 record.
You're talking about the Tennessee Heat?
Yes.
Well, they got their wins against Bowling Green, South Haven in the last 2 weeks, trying to get another win to just go 4-0 throughout the rest of the season. time
Coach Cooper
called.
didn't like what he saw.
So another timeout for the Vikings. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week, sponsored by Tennessee Heat Athletics. Visit TennesseeHeatSports.com. Dr. Sterling Foster. Visit Dr. Sterling Foster for all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs. Chuck Miner Homes. Visit Chuck Miner Homes for the best home deals in Middle Tennessee. And by Symmetry Financial Group's Daniel Hoffmeister. Safety for your family.
A little bit.
1st and 10, and directly kept by Tristan Davidson. Gets a first down, and the Vikings are now moving pretty decently down the field.
Well, they're avoiding the mercy rule. You know, only down. Well, they're down by 32 right now. Touchdown, of course, would cut that lead down. But they're Lecrae and Andy Mineo. They're coming in hot.
You know what this game is missing that you really enjoy?
What's that?
Kickers.
Yeah.
There's not been a single punt in this game. It's been really interesting. Both teams completely going for it, and that's a testament to both coaches on their get-up-and-go attitude.
I'll tell you what, though. I had fun last night. Kickers were fantastic.
There's a catch is made by Jerry Williams, and Williamson in the quarterback position now.
No, the kickers last night for Russell and Ezekiel, great job with the extra point. I think the Russell guy had an extra point blocked, or it was maybe a muff snap or something like that. But Ezekiel's kicker hit all his extra points. Kickoffs were beautiful. Punts were beautiful. It was a great game for the brand. Shout out to Pat McAfee.
About 3 minutes, 10 seconds left to go. 2nd and 11. Least left to go in the third, and Williamson tries to pick up the ball, still loose, and the Dragons fall on it.
Yep, it was on the back of a Florida player, but guy beside him was able to grab it. Snap just a little too hot for Williamson to handle. That's a backbreaker right there.
Yeah, another score here, and the mercy rule begins to run on the Vikings. And you know, it's really tough. It's really tough for the Vikings. Of course, they start later in the year on September 6th, and a bunch of the teams that at least we cover and teams they play. You know, their first game of the season, it was tough because the Vikings, they only had maybe a week or two of practice and then traveling on the road to Springfield, when the Patriots had played 2 games to that point. Granted, they had 2 bye weeks.
Plus a jamboree.
And the jamboree. So they at least had the opportunity to work out some of the kinks and get a little bit better, especially hosting at home. So from that stretch, it's just been game after game after game after game after game.
Well, it's a tough situation for them, but I mean that's what you want, especially with the late start. You want to get as many games in as possible, and you know they're going to get 7 games in, and that's a good solid season.
Now on 2nd and 2, the Dragons trying to seal the fate of this game by getting another score and running down the clock.
Spencer, I think we need to go to Oklahoma for an 8-man game.
At some point we will.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
I'm all for getting work done in the rest of the states. We've gone up to Bowling Green. We haven't gone to Alabama to actually broadcast a game at this point. Went down to Alabama last night and got some good updates in there. That was a good game as Cato Dulcio, left side sophomore, gets to about the 10-yard line.
Spencer, are you forgetting about our Evangel game?
Yes, I am. We did go down to Alabama to broadcast that game. It was last night into a game between two games we had never broadcast for before. We did the Evangel Lightning for the NHSA game.
Random stat, Spence.
Sure.
New Mexico School for the Deaf. Can you guess what their mascot name is?
No idea.
They're Roadrunners.
Meep meep.
Someone please
It's been a long day.
tell this man to never do that again.
It was a good joke, man.
All right, you can take that. That's cool.
All right, the clock continuing to run down. It's 2nd down and 7. Or actually, excuse me, a first down indicator says about first down and 6. Handoff up the middle for the Dragons. That's rushed by Ajani Zahira, the 8th grader. Pushes through, and what a big move by the 8th grader to get a first down.
Speaking of 8-man football for Schools for the Deaf, got a big game up north, Michigan and Minnesota. There's Schools for the Deaf going at it. That'd be a cool one to watch.
Those are 2 8-man teams as well. There are a lot of cool games to watch around 8-man football, especially. It's just regular football between between both teams who are Schools for the Deaf.
It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's such a unique atmosphere. It's still high school football, but it's such a unique atmosphere.
Left side run by Dulcio. First down a little bit more at the 20-yard line.
Should get about one more play in here in the quarter, and then time for the 4th.
Mm-hmm. You can stop shaking the headset.
I'm just yawning, sir.
Well, yawning, but shaking the headset with it.
How about Kansas School for the Deaf, Spencer? What's their mascot name? Come on, take a guess.
Tumbleweeds? I don't know.
What?
There it is.
Jackrabbits.
There it is. The Jackrabbit.
That's pretty cool. We are the Jackrabbits. Mighty Jackrabbit. What?
You know what we need? We do need, if anybody's thinking of a mascot name for their school, go with the Tumbleweeds because that's unique. Right side, Zahira trying to push through that defense, gets to the 5-yard line for a 1st and goal.
It was a good hard run, though, by Zahira.
Now about 37 seconds left on the scoreboard, and clock running down.
That should do it. They might run one more play. Yep, they're going to run one more play.
One more play for the 3rd quarter, and just a 32-point difference. If the Dragons punch it in here, Mercy rules start running for the 4th quarter. And handoff up the middle to Dulcio, trying to push through, and end zone. It is touchdown, but several flags flying around.
Boy, those came flying out of
every direction.
everywhere.
So probably it'll be a defensive foul, but
I would almost say offensive.
I mean, it's either one or the other. But
good math.
Head official talking to Coach LaFours.
Well, then it probably is on Tennessee.
And we will get the call from our official.
We have a personal foul, face mask on the defense. Be a touchdown, be half the distance to the goal line on the extra point.
So that's how they chose to enforce it. That's interesting.
No, that's interesting. It's interesting because I know at least in the NFL they clarified it this year to where you can elect to enforce the penalty in either the try or the kickoff, where it used to be you can't enforce it on the try. There's a handoff for the 2-point conversion attempt and broke the plane. 52-12, a 40-point lead now for the Dragons, and looks like the mercy rule is going to go for the start of the fourth quarter. The Kingdom.com Extreme Game of the Week is sponsored by International Fire Protection Incorporated. Life safety is our business.
Yes, sir.
Grow, Live, Give. Visit growlivegive.com. Star Physical Therapy. Your health, our hands. Choose Star. And by Kingdom.com, the ministry technology provider. .12 minutes left to go in the fourth, and looks like they will run the clock. Started the kickoff, and just going to run down here. The Vikings going to try to get the mercy rule finished, but looks like it's just wrapping things up here at Chambers Field.
It's a big win for Florida. Keeps them undefeated, and for Tennessee, just a back and forth season. You know, couple wins against South Carolina and losses to Mississippi, Florida, and the Patriots. I think that's all their games so far.
Patriots, they played the South Carolina.
6 games, and then they got the Heat next week. So they'll move to 2-4 on the season. Chance to go 2-5 or 3-4 next week.
Eric LaFleurs has led the Dragons to an undefeated season thus far, and for the Vikings, Jordan Cooper came into this season 4-3. This is his second season. He was 4-3 overall last year. First time taking over as the head coach, at least with an active team, because of 2017 having to cancel their season. So now at 2-4, that'll make him 6-7 after this game.
That's actually pretty solid.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to have winning seasons in high school football. And
Well, you said what was the record?
it was 4-3 going into this year, and now with 2-4, that'll be 6-7
So
after
if they can
today's
win
game.
next week against the Heat, he goes to 500.
Yep, which is not bad at all.
Okay. All right.
Left side, Williamson.
What a run. What a run.
Just
He's got
gets to the outside.
boy.
And Williamson with the big rush there. We'll show it to you on the replay.
Boy, he just found that edge and took off. Like I said, he's got speed. He's able to make things happen.
And just Williamson getting to the edge. Had to be stopped last second by Justin Cabrera, the 5'9" sophomore. Now a 1st down and 10 for the Vikings. Just trying to get another score here just to get some more things worked out going into their game against the Heat in 5 days.
We want to kill the running clock, too.
And there's a high snap, and the Vikings fall on it. Garrett Burns, the 8th grader, gets possession of it. Good to see him back on the field after that injury.
Yeah, for sure. And to see him get the catch on the far side of the field. Earlier in the game here on the right side, that was a great catch and a great way to hop back in the saddle. Someone famously said one time, Maya he, Maya ho.
Referencing Dragostandi Day.
Yeah, that. There's no way I'm saying that. Not happening, homeboy.
So now second down and about probably half of the field. Back on the 29-yard line. And another high snap and falling on again by, looks like Burns.
Can you get the replay for me? I almost think we had an offside, Spencer. Tell me what you see. The guy that was in on the play, I think he was offsides.
Just looking for it here, and no, he hesitated. He didn't cross into the neutral zone.
Okay, I was just checking.
It's a close call though. It's a close one that could have easily been called for offsides, but he got a little bit of a running start there. Now moved back to third and almost the entire field. Probably about 3/4 of the field at this point. The Vikings back on their own 14. It's a tough way to end the game as well.
Yes, sir.
Tough way if this is the end of the game, of course. Still plenty of time, even though it's winding down. I mean, tough way to end potentially your last offensive drive of the game. And another high snap bounces off of
Florida
the
got
helmet of Davidson, and the Dragons get it.
That's tough. He just bobbled it. At some point lost track of it, and Florida was able to shoot in and grab it.
So with 7 minutes left and just winding down, a 40-point lead, chance for the Dragons to increase it more. Timeout called by the Dragons with 6:50 left to go in the game. The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind trying to wrap it up as they'll go 5-0 overall. .650 and another score here. Puts it away more than it already is. And touchdown for number 21, Ajani Zahira, the 8th grader, gets the score.
Well, this has been a very successful business trip for the Florida SDB Dragons, and it's tough for TSD. I believe they have senior night next week with the Heat, so that was obviously a good pick to have senior night next week. Of course, the Heat are a tough opponent, but kind of gives you a little bit of a little fun opponent for senior night, something to remember.
The Dragons have taken care of business here in Knoxville, that's for sure. And they're going to have a happy bus ride home back down.
A long,
Jackson.
but a happy bus ride.
It'll be long but joyous.
Well worth it. Well worth the bus ride. I've had games like that. I've had games where it wasn't worth the bus ride, too.
I've experienced those long bus rides home, too.
Not in the football sense. After a whooping?
Yep.
Yeah.
Two-point conversion,
boy.
no good. Make that 58-12 as the clock continues to run down. And very interesting game to see for sure. It's always a great experience to come up to Knoxville, Chambers Field.
Do it sometime if you get a chance. You have the helmet schedule. You know when they play. Just come on up.
Well, there's a Thursday or Saturday game. They only had 2 Saturday games this year. They had their Mississippi School for the Deaf game 2 weeks ago on a Saturday. The rest of their games have all been on Thursdays, and of course that's it's part of the culture that they ensue here with their students to make sure that their kids aren't on camp. They have their classes Monday through Thursday, and then they let their students go back home to their families on Friday for the weekend, give them a longer weekend, which is a testament to the caring character that is instilled here by Tennessee School for the Deaf.
Well, and it's a very nurturing family atmosphere, and I'm sure it's like that at every school for the deaf. I mean, the kids are at a boarding school a majority of the year, and so it just has to be a really real family atmosphere.
And bounces off the helmet of Williamson, falls back on it, and 4 minutes 20 seconds and winding down. And again, you mentioned it earlier, but it's nothing to be ashamed of for Jordan Cooper because he goes to 6-7 on his total record as a head coach out of this game. But if he gets to win against the Heat, I mean, even whether he goes 6-8 or 7-7 after next week, it's not a bad record for the first 2 seasons in your head coaching position.
Well, and when you're not able to play a whole ton of games right off the bat, it's just something that you deal with. You learn to adjust and make the best of it. Even not being able to practice as late as they are. But good, but thankfully for the Vikings, Lorenzo Curry's only a junior.
Exactly. They got another year going into 2020 for football, and might see Lorenzo Curry at the All-Star game this year.
Possibly.
That'd be some big moves to make.
Be cool. Wonder if TSD knows they only have 7 guys on the field.
Huh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Yeah, they only
2, 3,
had
4,
7.
5, 6,
They're
7.
missing 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, they have 8.
Okay. All right.
6, yeah,
Somebody was tucked somewhere.
Yeah.
Behind one of these big old linemen that they've got. Well, you got to love the perseverance of these players too.
Yeah.
We talked about what's happened the last few years. 2014 great season. 2015 great season. 2016 they struggled a little bit. 2017 they had to cancel their season, and then 2018 last year able to kind of get back on track, but went through a little bit of a dry spell. And love to see them back. Love to come out here and watch their games and cover them.
Williamson loses the ball. Florida recovers it. That's a move by Garrett Hunt, the junior middle linebacker, getting the fumble recovery, and that's going to wrap it up here from Chambers Field, essentially.
I see Florida taking a couple knees and, like you said, getting ready for the bus ride.
Yep.
I haven't seen their bus. I wonder how nice it is. I kind of want to see the bus now. I want to see what kind of bus they're rolling in.
We'll probably see it on the way out.
They'll head out of the gate going, I just want to rolly, 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 rolly. That's what they'll do.
Chambers Field has hosted many great games for the Vikings since 1898 when they first started their football program and started out as 11-man, then moved to 8-man. I'm not sure when that move was made.
I'm not 100% sure either.
Probably made at some point in the past few decades, but move has been decent for him. It's now
probably in the
first
2000s.
And they're just going to hand it off to 71. That's Andre Pellicker, the sophomore. And just 60 seconds left as it's time to wind down, and probably just one more knee, and that'll wrap it up.
Tennessee leading 10-3. Spencer, you realize what this game means, right?
They'll get on the rankings.
Last time we were up here, there was a Tennessee game on the radio on the way home.
I remember that.
Boom. Get to listen to the great Bob Kessling classic.
Second and
You've never listened to Bob Kessling?
No, I have. Remember
what,
the
one game.
I still
but you don't make a habit like you should. You should make a habit of listening to Bob Kessling. Solid radio voice.
And just another handoff, this one to 37. Don't have his number, but the Vikings defense can't stop him. He's plowing through, finally pushed down to about the 4-yard line. And
that'll do it.
I think that's going to do it unless they call time here. But that's going to wrap it up here. The Dragons vanquish the Vikings 58-12 on the road in Knoxville. The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind can ride home on the bus joyous for their victory. That'll wrap it up here from Knoxville. Thank you for tuning in to thekingdom.com. Extreme Game of the Week. Extreme Radio is tomorrow at 4 p.m. We'll recap only the 2 games that have occurred and start previewing the playoff picture and the intense games that we have going forward into the final week of the regular season.
You don't want to miss it.
4 p.m. tomorrow, Extreme Radio. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you soon.
Hey, Spencer. They went 8-man in 2005. Just to let you know. We'll see y'all later.